Welcome back, Wash Up Walk-Ons fans, episode 311 of this very wonderful podcast. And today's way better than the last few have been because Kevin is with us, and that means that I don't just have to look at Kluver's ugly, bald ass for the entirety of the podcast and listen to him talk to himself while I play phone games and wait for silence so that I can finally talk. Kevin, I'm gonna throw this over to you because I'm actually looking forward to talking to you, mate, and it's really good to have you back for another episode. So how you been? How's your day, your week, uh,
Hey,
your wallet,
it's
everything? How's your nut?
it,
Everything. Tell us all about it.
it's. I want to start off with it's good to be back. It's good to be actually invited to this podcast because it wasn't deemed necessary that I even got an invite to the last one. So hey,
Kevin Ward, good to see him back out there.
And 100% that last one was on Kluver, and you have to understand that he is an asshole and he's not a good friend. And he just said, fuck it, my time is more valuable than Kevin. So we're going to run this podcast because I don't want to wait for him. And I got that text. I got receipts. I'll have to go find them for you after the podcast. But
I just like I remember you guys talking about the podcast. I'm like, wait, did y'all like send a invite out for that I just didn't see or something? And you're like, oh yeah, we just didn't tell you about it. So I didn't realize I had to get invited to my own podcast now. So I guess that's interesting.
Oh man,
Kluver, what do you have to say for yourself?
I ain't got shit, man.
You're in handcuffs right now and you're pleading the fifth. You need your lawyer or what?
I'm Johnny Depp on the stand, brother.
Yikes. Start there.
I mean, who is this chick and why is she shitting in his bed? What's going on? What is going on?
I don't know anything about the whole situation, but some of the memes I've seen have been rather hilarious.
I saw the one kid who he's like doing the whole, like, you hold your breath and like push all the blood to your brain so that the head veins pop.
Yeah.
I saw that one today, that meme, and they captioned it with Amber Heard trying her best not to shit all over the courtroom. Oh my God. I
Did you see the story I posted on Instagram today that reposted of Johnny Depp reading his supposed text message transcripts?
he told her that
Well, he didn't tell her, he told somebody.
Yeah. He asked if what was it? Slippery whore. Is the slippery whore that I used to donate my jizz to still living there or something? I mean, just an absolute.
And then he said he couldn't wait till that expletive was rotting 6 feet deep or something like that.
Oof.
Good Lord.
Did you see the one where he was like, something about, it must have been like them being in a physical altercation. It was something about her throat. And he sent back a text to her. This was between the two of them. And he sent back, I have better uses for your throat than something. It was like implying like, I don't know.
Listen, I don't know if you know how pirates behave, but
hey,
this is on par or civil with pirate behavior.
Yeah.
And you guys praised him. He was the king of the fucking pirates. So don't now try and crucify him for acting like a pirate.
Yeah, broski.
I think pretty much everyone's on Johnny Depp's side on this one, no?
I think so.
I don't know. There's no way with how divided America is. I don't have Twitter. I don't, all I did was see the video. So I don't know whose sides who's on, but I'm just making the assumption that with how divided this dumbass country, these dumbass people, not dumbass country, these dumbass people in this country are, I would assume it's,
I don't know, man.
50-50, 60-40.
Social media feels like
it feels like everyone acknowledges that this woman is an absolute psychopath.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I've never even heard of her until this whole thing went down, but it's pretty comical. I'm a big fan. Provides great content opportunities, which we're all about. Going back to Kev, I'll go back real quick to you being invited to your own podcast. Let's see what happened. Drake and I were hanging out on Wednesday. Drake texted me and said, "Hey, I forgot to tell you, I'm going to be going to a comedy show."
Went to 2 comedy shows last week, by the way.
And so you're going to have, if you want me on the Wednesday podcast, you're going to have to record with me early and Kevin later on in separate.
And guess what? That piece of shit did not text you that night, Kevin, and that cannot be placed on me because I was at a comedy show laughing and maybe having consumed a fair amount of vitamins.
Was it a good comedy show? Did you enjoy your time?
Dude, it was fantastic. Ari Shafir had like 6 comics. So Ari plus 6. And they all came up and told one police or 420 related story and then riffed in between. It was about 90-minute show. It was absolutely fantastic. And then on Friday, I went to Bill Burr at the Bridgestone Arena.
Oh, that's good.
A buddy of mine texted me Thursday night and he's like, "Hey, are you a fan of Bill Burr? Do you want tickets to his show?" Or maybe it was he texted me Friday and the show was Saturday. Either way. And I was like, "Well, dude, why do you not want them? And please let me buy them from you." He's like, "No, they're my pastors. We were all going to go, but we have to be out of town this week playing music because they have a band. So you can have the tickets, dude." I just got to go to Bill Burr, sit in the club seats for free. It was unbelievable.
How was Bill Burr? It's pretty funny, dude.
Bill Burr absolutely leveled the place. He's unbelievable in the fact that he is not afraid to trash anybody. Fat white chicks had a really tough time at Bill Burr's show. Let me just put it that way.
I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of that. I mean, Burr's probably, what is he, top 3 right now?
And here's what made him great. At least 1/3, but up to 1/2 of the show was riffing. There was a woman in the front sitting down in the really expensive seats, acting a fool, and he trashed this woman, just drug her. And then he had jokes on jokes and riffs about Nashville and the South and slavery and et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, he doesn't just write jokes for one town. Or one show. He just has a huge depth of knowledge and is extremely funny and can just make up unbelievable comedy on the spot. I was extremely impressed by that.
Those guys are, like I said, I mean, I think he's top 3. He's considered one of the living legends in comedy right now. And they are witty as hell, man. Like that's not just like a guy in a bar funny, or like like everybody's got the funny guy in their group. It's like a different kind of funny.
He told this woman her voice sounded like 2 seagulls fighting over a worm.
Just on the spot.
On the spot.
That's tough for her. You know who else is doing a 5 minutes? I think it's happening tonight. Is
The Boys at Zanies.
The Boys sold out. Bussin' with the Boys is sold out.
If I would have known about it, I'd have got us tickets. But I did not know about it.
Sold out. And they were doing a live Bussin' with the Boys. And Will was doing 5 minutes of stand-up.
Good luck to him, man. I hope he has one really good, solid story that he can just build punchlines into. And if he has that, he's got a good 5.
That's scary, man. That's scary. 5 minutes takes a long time. I remember freshman year speaking and reading class. I had to do 3 15-minute speeches, and just say 2 out of 3 didn't go well. Just wasn't great. And it's because I couldn't be funny. The last one I could be funny. I think I might be able to throw together a 5-minute set.
I was just about to say I think I could do 5 minutes making fun of my wee wee.
Wow, really? 5 minutes.
I mean, that made Kevin laugh.
5 minutes.
All right, you got another 4:55 to go.
five whole minutes about having a small penis. All right.
Hey, but if that's the opener, and then I let him laugh that out a little bit,
Yeah,
and then I introduce myself, and
then talk about being in the locker room.
I'm a minute in,
Yeah,
and then I can come up with small wee wee jokes for,
at least
call it 2 minutes and 30 seconds,
and then take them out. Yeah.
Then I just pull my wiener out at the end,
And that's good enough for the last 30 seconds. Yeah. Then you get the red light and you're off. Yeah.
That's the shock and awe factor.
Yeah.
I mean, really what you got to do, if you got 5 minutes, you got to somehow shock them, make it memorable.
Yeah.
If I pull my wee wee out, it would shock them.
Yeah.
So my brother's high school friends had a fantasy football league, and one year, the loser had to do that at an open.
That's tough.
And I think that's a phenomenal bet.
I would love for that to be the bet for our fantasy group as well. The loser has to go up and do an open mic set where we're all together.
That would be tough. That'd be tough. If I lost, I would open.
Or at least several of us are together.
Yeah. Drake, I'm surprised you. Anyway, to wrap that up, Kev, I'm sorry. So what happened there was Drake was going to a comedy show. We had a few things to talk about lined up. Drake and I ripped for like 50 minutes. And I was you know what? I'll be honest. I was like, well, we got 50 minutes, and Kev probably
didn't want to talk to your friend Kevin.
Kev probably isn't going to care. Kevin probably isn't going to care if I don't bother him with, hey,
guess what assuming does, Kluver? What does assuming do? Tell the people.
I think in this case, assuming gave Kevin and I both a free night without having to podcast.
Hey, man, it's like, even if I can't do it, or it's like,
he wants
it feels good to have it.
He wants the courtesy. Yeah, he wants the courtesy.
Exactly.
All right. I'm sorry. Okay, well, from now on.
And I'm pretty confident I texted it in the group.
Did you?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, we don't have to do this right here.
I don't remember seeing anything in it, but it's just like, you give KF the courtesy invite to your wedding. He's probably not going, but you give him the invite.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. I don't respect you like I respect KF, but I mean, it is what it is. And I might not even respect KF as much as I respect another coach on the staff, and that's Seth Wallace. The GOAT Wallace, huh? Now that's not true. I respect KF higher than basically anybody. But after last week, where Drake and I had some words, mixed some conversation in about old Seth Wallace. And
Kevin, you got to be pretty happy that you weren't a part of those conversations, just simply because we got a little bit colorful. And by we, I mean me. And I went ballistic.
I mean, that's fucking valid in my opinion. It's a bunch of horseshit. It's. I mean, I don't even know what to call it. You go after anyone else in the staff, but like this just doesn't make a lick of sense to me. It's complete horseshit.
Yeah, it's the nicest way to put it is like I've never seen someone grasp at straws more than this ever. Like I've never seen a weaker attempt, a more sad, abysmal effort of like trying to somehow, some way make a little cash. Akram selling footballs and not sending them was better than this one. I mean, let's be honest. Like, seriously. Anyway,
Well, because it actually worked.
right, because he saw some fruit for a while, some magical mystery fruit. Coach Wallace listened to the podcast, which, first of all, warms my heart to the bone. Sends me a text message.
I want to know who leaked it to Wallace. Was it one of the media guys that said, "Hey, coach, probably want to listen to this"? I'm just curious. Was it a player, a coach?
Right, because there's no way he just listens to the pod week in, week out, right?
That is correct. that potential is zero.
Dude, I get a text.
I'm sure there's someone on the staff that's like aware, like looks at whatever Kluber tweets out as like the headlines for the show. And it's like, shit, we better be on top of this one, see what those assholes said, and
I put
that we're okay.
And I put the goat with his face on it on the thumbnail for the YouTube video. So that's gonna get someone's attention. Okay? So someone was like, "Oh fuck, we got to listen to this one." Every time I do something like that, they're like, "We got to spend 30 minutes sifting through this bullshit on 2x speed." Oh man, I get a text, and Drake I think got it at the exact same time. It was Thursday night, just after 8 p.m. I just get a text from Coach Wallace. "I love you." All exclamations.
He must have just copy and pasted it over to the two of us, because I think they both said the exact same thing.
Obviously, Drake and I talked about the idea of making the Goat Wallace shirt. Before I could even freaking respond, he sends me, "You send the shirt, I'll send the washed up walk-ons donation." What a fucking animal.
And so what that comes down to is the commander told us to execute a mission.
Yeah.
And we're going to go get the t-shirts done.
Yeah. He said, "Hey, big man said, we're go hot. Green light, green light, green light." And so.
Clear to engage.
Yeah. Engage mission. So shout out to Coach
now
Wallace.
We just need the Christmas KF shirts to be clear for engagement.
And I'll tell you what, we're going to get into a little spring ball here because your boy was there in Kinnick. Always good to be inside of that beast. We'll get there in a second. Coach Wallace was moving around. He was on his feet. He was running after people. Still barking. He at one point, Lauren even laughed about this. He at one point, I was kind of following him. He ran onto the field in the middle of move the ball to yell at one of the referees face to face. Like, he ran.
You are lying.
No, dude, he ran all the way. I said, I don't even think Lauren was paying attention. I was like, "Oh, there he goes. Wally's on the move. What's he doing?" And he's like sifting through players, like dodging and weaving. And I'm like, where is he going?
All fours galloping like the goat that he is.
It kind of looked like it. It looked like like one of the what are they, Griffiths on Harry Potter. And I'm like, what is he? Is he going to chew ass in the middle of this period? Like, what is going on? And he walked right past all the players so that he could get within earshot of one of the referees, like I don't know who the middle referee is that kind of stands at the second level in the defenses. He went all the way out onto the field to fucking get that guy's attention. It was unbelievable. Lauren's laughing her ass off. She's like, "What is he doing?" I'm like, "Oh, he's chewing ass. It's just Coach Wallace being Coach Wallace." Incredible
that
stuff.
He's usually in charge of either throwing a flag for holding or illegal lineman downfield. So was it, I don't know, did the offense run an RPO to play before or something?
I can't even remember what happened before. I felt like it was a pass, but anyway.
All Kluber could think about was the galloping goat.
Dude, it was so great. Before we move on there though, so those t-shirts, Goat Wallace, we're going to send a few. It might be, so we got a little inside contact. Kevin and I met one of the current managers for the team last summer at the Legacy family event. I believe his name is Jake Manning. Shout out Jake, listens to the pod. Over the course of the weekend, I think Doctorman retweeted a picture or tweeted a picture of the managers practicing before the spring practice kicked off and said that, like the toolbox training is in full prep. I retweeted that with the walk-ons account and said, we're still waiting on the call up for us to come in and do play-by-play and color commentary for the toolbox game this year, which will be in Iowa City. And obviously people like that idea. Jake sent me a DM and said, hey, I've got a better idea for you guys to be involved with the toolbox game. How about you do a washed up walk-ons meetup on the Friday night before the game in Kinnick this year? And that way we can sell merch and do a meetup for the walk-ons at the toolbox game, which will then also bring in all those people to then watch the toolbox game. So the managers get a bigger crowd to play in front of. We get to have a meetup and be a part of it.
A, are they having the game in Kinnick or in the indoor? And B, will they allow fans there?
He said it would be in the indoor.
Do we get to go up in the box?
No, he said it would be in the indoor. At least he said you guys could have a meetup in the indoor and then they would watch us. So I assume they'd be doing it in the indoor because the game is in November, middle of November. So it's probably going to be kind of cold.
But are we going to get to commentate it?
I think if they even let us in the building to be a part of it at all is a win there, especially if they let us sell merch. Can you imagine us? Can you imagine us? Now take yourself back to 2020, 2017 or 2016, Drake Kulik, Kevin Ward, Tyler Kluver. Put yourself in that mindset. And now imagine that someone comes up to us and says, hey, in 5 years for the toolbox game, you're going to come back. You guys are going to have a brand based in a podcast and you're going to sell merch in the indoor.
And Drake, you're going to look like the ultimate scumbag.
Yeah. And Kluver, you're going to be basically bald, which I'm surprised you haven't commented on it, Drake.
And Kevin, you're going to be wildly successful. Guess what? Who's shocked?
Yeah. Nobody would have guessed that one. Dude, I got the wife gave me the one blade cut today. See that shit? We're almost there. You know, I've just trying to act like I'm as good looking as DeMarco. That's all I want to be. Don't think I'm there, but
like, what's stopping you from taking out the razor blade? Having the wife put a bunch of shaving cream on your head and just.
Well, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have my wife.
I mean,
if this was DHT, I would have
brother.
just gotten wildly inappropriate with what Kevin just said.
But you didn't.
But since this is a family program, I'll keep that one for tomorrow.
Kevin, to answer your question, at this point, I've been taking some. I usually for the last 4 or 5 years, while I have started to bald, and you guys have continued to berate me at a level of which may make some suicidal. I have usually gotten haircuts with a foreguard, right on the clipper, right?
Kev, I'm glad you enjoyed that as much as I did, dude.
So I usually get haircuts
because like we can't really relate, right, Kevin? Because we have luscious hair. And
I wouldn't say we have luscious hair. I have hair.
I mean, Kevin, you got a good head of hair, bud.
He's got a good head of hair. His hairline, though, is in between ours.
But he covers it up way better.
Because his hair is long and can flow.
He also has a luscious beard.
And I have a nice beard, too. I mean,
it's an okay beard. It's a beard.
It's not a bad beard.
It's not a bad beard. It's a beard, you know? It's somewhere in between mine and Kevin's. This is a bad beard.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I shave. And Kevin's is a good beard.
Sure.
But please, non-hair squad, please be quiet. But Kevin, we just can't really relate to what it feels like to be inferior in that manner. So, you know.
It's true.
It just is what it is.
Anyway, foreguard. So over the last 3 haircuts, I've progressively been making steps towards mentally accepting that my identity as we know it is going from someone with hair to someone without hair, right? So 3 haircuts ago, we went with a 3 guard, looked a little shorter for a while. Then the last haircut, we went with a 2 guard. And then today's haircut, we're down all the way to a 1, which I'm, for those looking at the camera right now, it essentially looks like the top of my head is fully shaved because of how thin it is up top. If I turn to the side, you can see I still have some there. But I think this, today's advancement in the progression has gotten me mentally there. I'm fully ready to be 100% bald because, within 30 minutes, I was like, yeah, I kind of like it. Like, it's cool. I don't mind the look. Like we've said the whole time, I'm going to look fine. Everyone will be like, okay, cool. You're a bald guy now. I think at this point, I just need how much work does that take? How often are people shaving their heads? What's the,
Well, you can let it grow back as
Bernie,
much as you want.
Yeah. I mean, you can always let it grow out one guard it again, but
sure.
Looks like our man Brady Ross does that every other day. He's got a shiny head.
That's what I'm saying. Is I feel like some people, for some reason in my head, I see like these old bald guys waking up every morning. It's like their 20-minute ritual. You brush your teeth, and then you get the razor out.
Shave.
Yeah, shit shower shave every morning, right? And I don't want to put in that much work. I still got, it's pretty thick in the back, so it's gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to take care of it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm basically there. Tyson Fury, he can knock out any motherfucker on the planet, and he's bald, right? So
he could knock out anybody on the planet, given a circumstances of a boxing ring.
Well, that's what I meant.
And boxing rules. Yes.
Nobody in a boxing match can take that man out. 8 billion people, he wins every match.
Every match.
Okay.
As long as it's a boxing.
Is there any athlete in the world that looks as unassuming as Tyson Fury?
Dude,
you
and
run
there's
into that guy in a restaurant, you're like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy. He's a fat slob. There's no way.
He is like 6'7" or 6'8".
He's 6'9".
Oh, he's 6'9". So
yeah.
There's that. So he's not, he's sloppy body.
Whatever.
He's sloppy body, but I don't know if a lot of people are walking up going, "Oh, I'm beating this guy's ass." But if you're 6'5",
well, you know what I'm saying. Is there any other athlete in any other sport that you're
it's a good question.
Gonna assume less out of, and he can be the best.
Roger Federer.
What?
Roger Federer. He's very unassuming, and he's one of the best tennis players to ever grace the planet.
Yeah, but he's a good athlete.
He's in shape though. It's not like he's fat.
Yeah, he's gotten older, but
I saw a baseball clip the other day of some dude. I think it was in the league, rounding first base. Boy looked like a bowling ball. Sloppy body.
Prince Fielder was pretty bad.
Some of those baseball players.
Was pretty bad.
Like, I'll be honest. You can debate with me or not. Like, you don't have to be that great of an athlete to be good at baseball. Some positions, yes. Like, if you want to be you're not finding a lot of fat shortstops out there or a lot of fat center fielders, right? But if you're
fat first baseman,
but if you're first baseman,
they stick some boys at first base and left field that don't move around too well.
You could find a couple fat third basemen too.
Yeah.
But hitting a baseball thrown by a major league pitcher is one of the hardest things to do in sport.
But is that athleticism or is that skill, right? Like, solving a Rubik's Cube is a skill, but it's not athletic.
I would call it very athletic, yeah.
I would say the swing is athletic.
It's skill and athletic, but it's like a golf swing. You don't have to be able to, crush a triathlon to be a good golfer, but it's a very hard thing to do is what they do.
I would argue that there are a lot of golfers who aren't very athletic. They're just very good at the skill of golf.
I think that hitting a baseball is much more athletic than golf.
It's an athletic skill is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. But how many of those skills do you need before you can really be considered an athlete,
Well, that's just like throwing a football as a quarterback.
Yeah, but quarter. Yeah.
See,
Our
now
boy-
you're
our boy
trying to
Tom
make an
Brady
excuse
isn't-
for your sport.
Our guy Tom Brady is going pro in exactly 0 other sports.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would argue that Tom isn't athletic either, relative to the average pro athlete, right? He's not. He's on the low end. He's in the bottom 10 percentile, along with all those fat first basemen and fucking Tyson Fury. But Brady and Fury are still the GOATs. Like, they found a way to succeed. But when you're just talking athleticism, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation for sure. Is John Daly an athlete?
That I was just about to say John Daly.
Because that motherfucker will golf any of you listening, Drake, Kevin, whoever it is, off the course right now, drunk. But is he an athlete? I don't think so. And his son got an NIL deal with Hooters.
Him and his pops together.
Let's go.
It's a family ordeal, bro. And listen to this. Hey, cool thing about that is my Uncle Trace is best friends with the original owners, the founders of Hooters.
Really?
They're business partners.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm about to be, as long as we buy a place in Nashville, an investment property to build Airbnbs on, I'll be business partners with the original family of Hooters.
Wow. And that doesn't surprise me at all.
Sold it or still in the Hooters game?
They sold it. They sold it a long time ago.
I hope they made a lot of money. All right, let's see. So that's how that ended up anyway, Kev. I'm sorry about it. I will give you the courtesy next time. Drake and I got
Jam that courtesy right back down your throat.
well, my throat's used for other things. Same with Johnny, me and Heather or whatever that Amber Heard's, our throats are used for other stuff. Mostly eating leftover Easter candy. I've eaten so much chocolate this weekend. Drake and I got hot on Coach Seth Wallace, and that's what it was. And then we busted out 15 minutes, and I was like, hey, good episode.
But boy, if you want to hear hot, go to patreon.com/washedup.com.
It got lava hot over there. So Drake, I want to, before we go to the spring ball specific stuff, and I'm so sorry. This is what you get when you get the walk-ons, right? You come here for a couple goodies, right? You maybe hear about the spring game. You get to hear about Seth Wallace running onto the field. You get to hear about, hey, what did I think of Cooper DeJean? And what did I think about the quarterbacks? And what did I think about this, that, the other? But then we talk about some chick shitting on a bed and Hooters NIL deals for 35 minutes before we get there. So you got to take the good with the bad, right? Mediocre, not safe for work content. Totally authentic. That's what this is. Okay. Shout out to DRF for sponsoring this bullshit. Drake, you sent me an Instagram, and I don't know if it was separate from the one you sent to me and Kevin in the text, because in the text you said you had a hell of a story for DHT, but then in Instagram message just to me, you said, don't let me forget to tell this dope. And you just said JJ story. So I'm assuming it's a JIT story.
Yes. I tapped out Bo Jackson's fullback.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right?
I'm guessing that guy's pretty old, but yeah.
Yeah, he's in his 50s. He's a black belt. The nicest guy. His name's Pound. And yeah, we got to I had heard about him before because he's friends of another guy who trains at the gym. And when they found out I was a fullback, he's like, oh, Pound, da-da-da. So I actually got to meet the guy, squatty older guy, real strong.
of course.
And I was able to get the best of him, but it was really pretty cool. He taught me a ton of jujitsu afterwards. But yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool to bring to a football podcast that I had a role with Bo Jackson's fullback at Auburn.
That's decent.
Is there any better fullback name than Pound?
No.
I don't think so.
No. 2, how'd you get him?
So the whole sequence or just the very finishing sequence?
whichever one you want to go. Give me the last.
All right, I'll just go with the finishing sequence. I was able to lock up a Kimura control grip on him, and I stepped around to put my top leg over his head, and I locked up a reverse triangle with the Kimura grip, and then I used the Kimura to peel him over to the opposite side so that I could really cinch down the triangle, and then I was able to use that other hand to or his free arm to really pull him into me and just, cinch it up pretty tight.
Love me some triangles. I gotta get better at Kimuras.
We need a shirt with Kevin's face on it that just says, "Love me some triangles." So
love me some jiu-jitsu, and the fact that Kevin both likes it and knows what I'm saying makes me quite horny.
Yeah. Another thing from the UFC fights this weekend, which I've been contacted by several people that they want, I feel like we have enough interest and it doesn't take that much that we might need to start a little, not awards winners, but like a Kulik segment on weekly UFC picks. Because
talk dirty to me, dude. I'm decent.
Yeah. So, maybe 3 to 5 UFC picks on the card for each weekend because
talk dirty to me. Hey, DRF, hit my line.
Yeah, maybe we can start a little segment there. Someone posted the one in the I don't know what happened. It was like somebody's ankle was about to be broken. It was an incredible flip over move from this weekend. It was like a leg bar or something. I don't know. It sounds stupid saying it.
Yeah. Knee bar. It was a knee bar.
And that looked like he was, he tapped so fast that it was, what happened there?
So it's really actually extremely hard to do what the guy on bottom did, because if you notice, the guy who submitted Clay Guida, who looks like me with the crazy hair, he started on bottom in what's called a half guard. Knee shield was up, and the knee shield makes it so that you can gauge the distance and control the distance between your partner's chest and your chest.
Sure.
And the more distance that you can get, the more space you can get in jiu-jitsu, the more room you have to work. And but what's really hard with how your foot works is to jet that knee across their chest and roll over into the knee like he did, because your partner or your opponent, all he has to do is pressure down and your foot gets stuck on his body and you can't get across. And now you're just kind of half upside down with your neck hurting in a compromised position. But somehow this sneaky bastard just jetted that leg right across, and wild. He was behind Clay's knee, or behind his hips with his knee on his belly before Clay even knew what happened.
It all happened.
That is some absolute expertise jiu-jitsu.
And
that was exquisite. That was exquisite jiu-jitsu.
And if he doesn't tap, he just tears all the ligaments in his knee.
No, it blows everything out the back. It'll dislocate your kneecap.
Butthole?
It will probably break the distal head of the femur.
Oh.
And it will blow everything out the back.
So they'd be calling Kevin if he doesn't tap.
Dude, they might be calling a trauma surgeon from the fucking military if he doesn't tap.
They'd be calling the morgue.
Dude, I'm telling you, we learned something called an estema lock, referencing the man who founded it. And it's a type of foot lock / heel hook combo where you with your outside arm, you bring your opponent's foot in with their toes in your belly, folded inside itself like a high ankle sprain would, and then you bite your elbow down and rip your body across, and it will legitimately effectively guillotine a person's foot off. Their foot will just no longer be there, and there is no surgeon on planet Earth that can put the fucker back together. I'm telling you, we learned some of the naughtiest, gnarliest ways to just explode people's appendages.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, that's a little bit of what happened in the UFC over the weekend. I know all of the female listeners really love that 5 minutes and listening. I mean, I think there is some sort of art and romance to listening to Drake talk about inflicting pain and damage to other
appendages.
Yeah, to other humans. I think there is some sort of like dark romance to that maybe girls like. I mean, I don't know what your kinks are out there. Who knows?
Hey man, the popularity of these like murder mysteries.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, people got some dark interests.
I mean, I'm not. If there's some lovely ladies out
if
there,
you guys didn't know that women had dark fantasies, you've been living under a rock.
that's what I'm saying. And if there's girls out there who, when you talk about doing stuff to other men, they like to identify with those men and put themselves in the control, in the grasp of Drake's hands, and think about Drake, contorting them into different types of pretzels and other.
Relax. I have a young lady at home that loves.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. I'm gonna nix this thought off right here, Kluber. Move on to the next subject.
Okay, yeah, cut me off. Like we haven't talked about.
This is a family program, Kluber. Jesus.
This is far from a family program.
We just passed Easter and you're gonna speak like this?
Yeah.
Didn't you learn?
No, dude.
It's the Sabbath, Kluver. Have some respect.
I don't. Okay. I went to church. a week ago on Sunday. Okay. I did. That's truth.
Did your ass get hot in the seat while you were sitting there?
Sweating.
Devil was saying, hey, he's tickling your butthole, saying, no, you're in the wrong place. Come home, daddy.
Like a whore, sweating like a whore in church. Let's get to the spring game.
My favorite one is sore like a whore on a Monday.
Wow. Okay.
That's a Drake Kulik original, and I promise you folks that.
Okay. Spring football. There's going to be a few guys that are sore from spring football. Anything you guys would like to know, the two of you who were not there? Anything specific?
I want to know about the breakout young players. That's really all I care about, because we know what we have coming back, and the spring game doesn't tell you anything. Well, who are the breakout young kids? Who was getting a lot of tick from the young squad?
Well, you're looking at number 3, Cooper DeJean.
Can he fly or what?
Kid's he's just a playmaker, man. Like,
he's just a ball player.
He's just
an old-fashioned ball player.
Talk about an athlete. Talk about the opposite of what you see when you look at Tyson Fury. I think you could give Cooper a racket. You could give him a ping pong paddle. You might be able to put him out.
I think the same thing about Riley Moss. Moss seems like he could do anything he wants.
Yeah, same thing. But he's a veteran. We know that, right? Riley. It was funny. KF actually, after one of the reporters got this quote, they said, how do you feel about where the team's at right now? And KF's quote was, "We've got a little bit more character than we normally do at this point." And he attributed that to having some very, very veteran guys who are, you guys know exactly what he's saying. We've got some guys at this point in the season who are very established. They're very confident in what they do and their abilities. And because of that, they've got a little leeway to bring a little drip with them to practice, right? They can bring a little attitude. They can talk a little bit. And I think Riley's one of those guys. I think Laporta's one of those guys. I wish we had one of those guys on the offensive line. We don't. Okay. We don't. But I'll tell you what, young kid, Logan Jones, switched from D-line to O-line, took Lindy's number. 6'5".
That's a tough one, dude. Coming from a guy who was given Mark Wiseman's number, that's a tough one.
So he's doing the exact same thing. Brought in as a D lineman. They now transitioned over to O-line, and he's starting on the offensive line at center. And he looks like, you want to talk about bad hairline, looking like 45 Manders looking ass, is Logan Jones. But so
the first thing you're going to say about the kid is he's got a bad hairline? Who the fuck are you, dude?
Bro.
You need beat up.
Bro.
You couldn't have even said, hey, man, he made a lot of good plays. It looked like he fit in great. Blah, blah, blah. His hairline sucks. Fuck you, Kluber. You suck.
This is my podcast. I can say what I want. What I do know is if I was lined up across from this kid, we'd be calling the, the people who dig graves, the grave digger, because I'd be in the dirt. You'd be in the dirt. He's a mean sumbitch and he's strong as hell. I think he's got like half the records already, or he did. I know he was setting records. Not a massive dude, right? Not huge. The other thing from yesterday, we got more guys hurt right now than anybody in the country. Every team in the country is healthier than us right now. I mean, I swear to God, there was 20 guys hurt. There were 20 plus guys not practicing. It was not good. The practice, by the way, was it might have been like 74 minutes on the schedule. It was short.
That's the dream.
I mean, yeah, that's out of necessity. Once you got all those guys out, like,
Yep.
you only can take so many reps. Like,
dude, I was
big full set of 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Right.
Because there's only 1s and 2s now.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was thinking exactly. They started rattling off that over the intercom, or the announcer. He kind of gave the script period by period, and I was like, oh, that's not in the beginning of the practice, that's not a very long practice. And sure enough, it was, they were punt walk into stretch, punt period. Tory Taylor, still good, by the way, ended the period on the normal punts before they flipped it around for plus 50s with a 70-yarder, 5+ hang time. And it wasn't necessarily.
That's what we as a cover man.
5+ hang time.
Easy, bro. Easy. Kevin and I would have been eating dinner waiting for it to come.
Did they fucking launch that out of a nuclear silo?
I wish you could have seen it, because if you didn't see it come off his foot, you would have thought, well, where's the jugs machine plugged in? Because
where's Elon Musk?
Right.
Because this must be SpaceX.
Yeah, they put a rocket pad in Kinnick, because that didn't come off of his foot, but it did. He's got an absolute cannon. Like, the kid's different, right? I mean, I was around 4 or 5 different punters during our time. The kid's different than all of them. He's just better. Some people are just better.
He's got a Marshall Kane leg for kicking.
Yeah.
Or for punting is what you're telling me.
Correct.
Do we do any special teams compete?
No, man, there was no other special teams drills outside of the punt period. Like, I'm telling you, they're worried that they can't. There's no way they can do it right now. They're worried about having 22 guys to start anywhere right now. Like, it's a problem. So there's that. Anyway, back to the young guys comment.
9-on-7.
I don't think there was. I don't remember there being a 9-on. I don't think there was a 9-on or a blocks period.
Iowa football's going soft, bro.
Soft.
We're fucked.
Also, by the way, the long snappers don't do tackle circuit anymore. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
What the fuck is going on around here?
They're at least doing some agility drills during individual.
Bro, they came off and they didn't do shit. I stood up and I said, we got soft. We got fucking soft.
This really is hurtful information.
Different era.
Man.
All right. Now, I want to know, everyone else wants to know, how are the guys slinging the ball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. If you're going up against our number one defense, you don't look great, right? You don't look good. And that happened to be Spencer. Spencer's still taking the 1 reps. Padilla's taking the 2 reps. Labis is taking the 3rd reps. I will say this, in individual drills, Spencer looked on fire. Spencer looked clean as a mofo in individual drills. I was going to say balls were clean, and you can make a joke about that, but they were. They were on target. Arlen Bruce is going to be a absolute dog. We already know that because from last year, he proved it. Keegan Johnson not in pads because he's, again, been limited this spring. Bruce, he walks around like he's got like NFL swag. Like, bro just is confident in what he does. Not too cocky or confident that way, but just like, hey, I'm here to get shit done. Love that. Charlie Jones 1-6 looking just confident. Reganey out there doing his thing. Everybody just, we've got some veteran dudes. We got some guys that got some.
Tell me we don't have the lightest skin tone, the least melanin of any receiving core in college football.
There's not a lot of melanin, eh? You know?
2 light-skinned receivers and 2 white guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is a racist.
We've got a white corner.
Yeah, it's a racist podcast. You know,
And Iowa football is a racist organization, is what you're
absolutely, 100%.
Fire Goat Wallace.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Behead KF, correct?
Everybody's racist.
And that's got to be televised.
Yeah, everybody's racist.
And then obviously Brian never gets a job either because
Brian's spending more times with the QBs, right? He's with the QBs all practice. People,
because he wants to hang out with the white guys, right?
Yes. Happens to be that we have all white quarterbacks. Padilla's got a little bit of there's got to be something in him. He's a little darker, maybe. You'll find on Twitter or anybody who breaks down the day that Petrus probably had a slightly worse day stats wise throughout the team move the ball periods. Now, again, that's against the 1D. And, Padilla and
what you said was the offensive line didn't really block anybody.
Oh, dude,
they didn't have too many good footed throws.
The offensive line looked like Swiss cheese. I mean, it's like playing The Price is Right. Door number 1, 2, or 3. Where do you want to come through? Right. And I think this is, I tweeted about this. I think this is both because the offensive line is hurt. We're hurt right now. I think we had Richmond, who he played a lot of left tackle last year. Tyler Ellsbury, who's a younger guy at left guard. Logan Jones, brand new at center. I believe the Connor Colby, big kid from Cedar Rapids who got experience last year, was playing guard. And Jack Plum was at right tackle. Those were the 5 that were out there with the ones. I don't know if that's what the ones look like or not, because again, we look like we just got back from Vietnam. Like, that's what our team looks like. We're all bandaged up. So I don't know. What I do know is that they can't block Lucas Van Ness, right? Who's going to have 40 sacks this year. He's going to have
Is he looking kind of like Antoine Nelson did?
He is an absolute physical specimen. He's 6'5" and he's stacked. He's got a 6-pack and he's like 275, 280 stacked to the
Mark
gills.
That down as things you love to hear.
Stacked to the gills.
We talking Drew Ott Jr. or what? More jacked than Drew, but
looks way better than Drew.
Now
Drew,
remember how Drew Ott played football.
Now Drew was smooth with it, right? Drew
and disgusting. He was just gnarly and nasty and gritty.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go Drew Ott yet, but this kid's
That's what I'm saying. So he looks like Drew Jr. I mean,
kid's gonna be a playmaker, right? He had 7.5 sacks last year as a young buck. Now let's let him grow. Now let's let him grow those hooves a little bit, right? Let's see what he can do. Your hair is out of bounds, bro. You look like I mean, you've got great hair. I don't know what else to say. I wish I could shit on you, but I just can't. So he's another young guy that's playing. It's hard to say that the offense really did anything. The run game counted out. Like, just call us a 7-on-7 team for now, because you can't run if you can't block, and we can't block right now. So it just is what it is. And dude, that's with our
not good for the University of Iowa.
And that's just with our top 3 linebackers out, right? So, like,
oh god,
Campbell and Benson, they weren't even in pads. I don't think Jacobs was in pads either. I think all 3 of them were out still. And then defense much further ahead than offense.
Who do we got running the cash right
So yesterday we had again with the people who are out, I don't even remember. We got Quinn Schulte.
How was Xavier?
Xavier looked good physically, right? Now you can tell that he's a step slow because he's trying to get his head wrapped around things, right? Kevin talked about this when we talked about him committing. And
oh man, I wouldn't expect him to know shit about shit by now. I mean,
right.
It's his first semester of college.
Right.
He's still getting his feet wet. I wouldn't expect him to.
Now you watch the kid in individual drills.
Dude, if I was trying to play starting defensive back as a freshman for Phil Parker and be in my first semester of college early enrollment, I would be drowning in the ocean.
I would
100%. 100%.
You could chalk me up to a casualty of attrition on that one because I'm not there anymore. You look at X and physically he's there, right? Like you look at him and you look at Riley and you look at all like X is physically ready to play the game. It's what did Coach Ferentz always say? It's a race to maturity. Like how fast can this kid learn the playbook, get the calls down, find his flow? Because as we know, the more you know mentally, especially on defense, the more you can unlock your physical skills, right? Sometimes physical can make up for the mental. 100% of the time, mental can make up for the physical, right? That's how some guys play the game. They're just in the right spots before things happen because they know it's going to happen. Some would say that's how Josie Jewell played linebacker.
That's disrespectful as hell.
Now, I wouldn't say that. Some draft analysts would say that.
Drew Brees proved that you could play quarterback without a functioning body. And he couldn't run, and his shoulder didn't even work anymore. And he could still play quarterback.
And he was like,
and he's 5'10".
Yeah. So, hey, you got a brain on you? Big head. Look at the big brain on Brett. He was a smart motherfucker. That's right. Well, right now, our O-line needs some more big kahuna burgers, but that's about it, right? Like, I think we look okay. I think practice was short. We talked about last week how we're looking to just like stay healthy and get our asses out of spring at this point. And I think they showed what they wanted to show. Disappointing on two fronts on the special teams. Torrey Taylor kept me fully tented enough, but the fact that long snappers don't do tackling circuit anymore, complete bullshit. And two, kicking, we had a bad day. Now we've been blessed with McGexL, Big Dick Miguel, right? Into Big Dick Keith, into Big Dick Caleb, right? Kicking position is wide open right now. It was a bad day. It was a windy day, but our kickers went 50%. And we even got a no, do it again in the middle of one of the move the ball periods. No. Oh, yeah. We got one of those.
Oh, no.
Yep. And I got anxiety from the middle of section 124. Hands started sweating because I heard, no, bring it back. Put the ball back on the left hash. Kick it again. And I was like, oh, shit. They better make it. Or KF's going to make everybody run, including the people in the stands. I was worried.
All of a sudden, you got to do a couple 110s again.
I'm out there running 110. Which right now, honestly, I would have been in good shape. I would have been in better shape than most of the guys. But holy shit, I got anxiety because he was getting a little pissed. Our kickers went. The new kid, I think, was feeling a little bit nervous. First time in front of fans. The Drew Stevens kid. And it's windy too, right? Like it's April, it's windy. It's no excuse, right? You are what you are. And the kid went 4 for 8. And I think the Blom kid, who's from Oskaloosa, who was kind of behind Keith and Shudak the last couple of years, I think he went 5 of 9, really 5 of 10, but it was the holder's fault. It got blocked. So not a good day, right? Not a good day. And that is what it is. But that was my sort of report on.
Call that a reasonably bad day.
Yeah, well, it's a piss poor day, right? It's honestly, it's probably the worst day they've had all spring, if I had to guess.
It's probably the worst spring game performance by kickers
in a while
that we've had in a long time.
Basically since my first year starting, because that was
no way, because Marshall
and
Marshall had a pretty good spring, did he not?
I can't remember his 2014 spring, but it was probably okay. It would be hard to be worse statistically than we were yesterday. I mean, it was pretty bad. Anything else to report?
How was the crowd? How many people we got?
Average crowd. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what came out. It was probably 12,000. Something like that.
We not 42 like Oregon got.
Yeah, maybe it was 10,000. I don't know. We didn't fill it like Oregon did with 42, or Nebraska, or Ohio State, or fucking LSU, or Oklahoma filled their.
Especially not Alabama. It was raining like a sumbitch in T-Town, and they still had that place popping.
Yeah, we don't have it. We don't have it like those.
We got it on Saturdays in the fall though.
We do, and it matters. Kinnick is good when it needs to be, right? And it was great to be back inside. The last thing I'll say is the amount of former players we have on staff or helping as GAs is absurd right now. And I love that because it just feels like that's got a little gusto to it, right? Like we have, and half the people listening are like, we should fire Brian. We've got Brian, LeVar, Hodge, Betts. Those are 4 guys that all played for Iowa. We've got KB. We've got
KB played for Iowa.
I know. I was continuing on. KB. Is there any more on the? I think that's our 5 on staff. Then helping, we have Jordan Walsh and Keegan both helping with the O-line. We've got oh God, I just remembered a joke. I'll tell you in a second. We've got those. What? We've got Cox.
Still there, right?
Cox helping out.
Let's go.
And God, there was one more. I thought there's just a ton of people.
That's a dude I really miss, Adam Cox, man.
I know we have to have
great
him
human being
on the podcast.
Dude, he works for the staff. There's no way.
Oh, we could have him on.
No way.
Yeah, we could have him on. I don't know who else was out there. Jason Manson is out there as well. He's not, he's not a coach or helping as a GA, but he's a former guy. Gersande was still walking around out there, and I don't know if he's trying to be a GA for the special teams or whatnot, but Lauren and I
he's been a GA for 5 years. They had him on scholarship to be a fucking GA for the last 5 years.
I love Gersande, I really do, but I gotta throw this one out there because I laughed my ass off on spot. I noticed him and I was like, oh, look, Gersande's here. And I've seen him in a couple of the promo videos that they've been putting out over spring. And I was like, I wonder if he's going to like try and help out now just because he's around, or if he's going to try and be a GA. And Lauren, so just low key under her breath goes, oh no. If they hired him on as a GA, he's going to try to still lead the team out of the tunnel.
Oh no!
And I was like, dude, I laughed my balls off in the middle of the practice. I was like, oh my God, I have to say that on the podcast.
Yeah.
So shout out to the wife.
That to be brought to the podcast.
Shout out to the wife for a funny joke.
Shout out Lauren. That's fantastic.
That's all I got.
One more question for you. Where did you hit up for food in Iowa City when you were there?
You know where I went. You know where.
Stella.
You went to there?
I walked my ass right to the corner and sat me down and got a Page chicken sandwich, baby. Stella never disappoints.
Love to hear it, man.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. I got to eat with my brother too, who graduates, and man, Stella's good. I was thinking about Estella because those burritos, that marketing teed up.
Boy, that would
smack,
be a good burrito to grab.
Absolutely smack.
Yeah, but Lauren's not a big she's not a big burrito person, and we were right there on the corner.
with the fact that you guys got all the staple Iowa City restaurants plus Five Guys, now Cane's, and I'm sure since I've been there, there's even been even more restaurant blow up because that Coralville Strip area is just really blowing up into Tiffin and stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of a pretty good food scene out there. I'm jealous.
Hey man, it's underrated, man. It's underrated.
For real, underrated. Iowa City's got good food. It ain't Nashville, but it's got some damn good food.
Agreed.
Now, I would love me a Hattie B's hot chicken up here in Iowa City.
You damn right you
would.
would.
Be dangerous.
I'd like a Shake Shack.
Fucking dangerous.
Bring Shake Shack to Iowa City, and I'll actually move there. And then we can finally build a studio.
I've been petitioning for a Portillo's for about 8 years now. One in Davenport, so it's getting closer, but not there yet.
All right. Well, maybe it'll keep making its way. That's all I've got. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I mean, we talked a little bit of Iowa football, like always. Ben Neiman hit me up on Twitter and said, "Hey, you wanna jump on and talk NIL and what all this, like some of the stories that are starting to come out with these NIL deals and shit that's happening." And I was like, head ass Neiman trying to just, hell yeah, man. Invite yourself right onto the podcast. We need content. Like I never talked to Ben, and all of a sudden he's like,
and more players start doing that, please.
Yeah, start hitting us up if you're a former teammate.
Just hit us up. We want to talk. We want to have fun.
Yeah, and we also want to secure J-Bo, but we got to find a date. So we're not going to talk about that too much more, but I think we got him in. So that's about it. We'll talk to you Thursday. Go be great.
Peace.